Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome back to Old Reader, New Reader. Welcome back to Phil.
I've missed y'all.
I've missed you too.
When was the last time I was on here, actually?
It feels too long ago now.
It was at least a crisis ago.
Yeah, because what? Probably, maybe, I don't know if it was Justice League that was the last one or
The
I don't
last one
know.
was Batman, a Lonely Place of
Oh, of dying. Yeah.
Dying. Yeah.
Yeah. All I know is that we'll have to do another one after this to make up for maybe what our discussion might be like for this one. But that's okay. That's okay. Um, if in case you haven't like caught Phil on the show before, which I recommend watching any of our shows together, just because I like them very much. I feel like they're very heartfelt shows. You can check out all of Phil's info in the description below. Check him out on Twitter and Twitch. Please and thank you. Also, can we all congratulate Phil's shirt, please? Because I want one. It's very jealous. I'm very jealous of it. She looks so good.
I wish I had got more because I got Disco Nightwing, Starfire, and Cyborg in this style, but if I had a bit more money, they had Raven and Beast Boy when he went by Changeling, so I could even got more.
And they never make anything for my girl or Roy, which is rude. So I don't have a Donna shirt, so I had to Donna cosplay instead today.
Well, when your best storyline is who is Donna Troy,
I know.
if you gotta ask.
Why do they do this to my girl? It makes me so sad. Is there a Black Adam jam? How's everyone doing?
Oh my god.
I love that. Is this the comic where Roy Harper does something horrible and the Titans have to come to his rescue? Listen, I know that happens often, but not this time. Something horrible happens to him, sure.
When you can ask that question and be right like 80% of the time.
I know. My poor baby, my poor husband. Makes me so sad. Sean, I hope everything's okay with your recovery.
Ooh, yeah, no walking.
Donna's usually on team shirts, but yeah, she never has apparel for herself. I know. I don't have the skill. I don't have the art skill. All I can do is like slowly collect whatever they give me, these little morsels of things.
Donna's the type of character where like I don't even want to ask for like a solo or anything because I'm like, what are you gonna do to her? Like
Oh,
you're,
yeah.
you're probably gonna torture her or something, or just literally smear her face in mud for a whole issue. Like Limbo is sadly one of the best things for Donna Troy sometimes.
I know. It's so sad. It's so sad. Oh, and I feel that way for all the Titans. So, we're talking about Titans by Jed Winick. This is like the 2008 to 2011 run. I chose this for today because out of all the Titans runs, this one you can actually like people can purchase books of. Unlike the Titans, which I like more, that never got a physical release.
Which is odd.
Um, I know. I have 2 more issues to collect from that one, and I can custom bind it for myself because that's the only option I've got.
That's the one with
Um,
like Jesse Quick, right?
yeah.
Okay, I like that one.
But this run, it happens during a whole bunch of other stuff. It also happens during Jeff Johns' Teen Titans. You also were going through like one of the crises and also Blackest Night.
And
So a
Final
lot
Crisis.
and Final Crisis. So a lot happens in this run. Is a lot to cover. As this starts off, for people who haven't read it, this starts off how many Titans run starts off. They're not together, but now they're together again. Um,
Can I ask a question before you
yes,
continue?
please.
Did you read the Titans East one shot that leads into that?
No.
Okay. I can summarize that real quick.
Yeah, that would be great. Please and thank you.
Yeah, so before this delightful run, DC was advertising that there was going to be a new Titans book called Titans East. So you're like, awesome. We got Teen Titans, and then we got Titans East with Cyborg like picking the next generation, like he's gonna train a new team and stuff. And to make a long
Now that
story,
makes more sense. Okay, please
yeah,
continue.
because I forgot to message you because I was reading it and I'm like, did did they read Titans East? And I'm like, I forgot to do it. But to make a long story short, Vic is happy, so that's already a sign of things to come.
Yeah.
And he has like Power Boy who was introduced during like 52 and then he stalked Supergirl for a bit and I'm not exaggerating, he literally stalked her.
Yeah.
Um Little Barda, Son of Vulcan, Hawk and Dove, like but it was the sister of Hawk that was the new Hawk and then Lagoon Boy
Hmm.
and Cyborg's, just running him through a training simulator and he's hopeful and then Unknown Danger comes and slaughters the whole team. Like most of them are in comas or recuperating, and Power Boy just has like a tree rammed through his chest. And Vic is blown apart because if you have any robotic limbs or robot in comics, you will get ripped apart. Um, so yeah, that's what led up to this.
That explains so much because I didn't really know what happened, but everyone was mad at him. Like,
Yes,
not people in his own crew, but people from that crew. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. But I guess it was bad and Power Boy was there, and that's all I knew. That explains a lot. That's a typical DC move. Makes me
yeah.
so mad. Hey, we have this really cool new book. Psych.
To be continued. Death.
Typical. So yeah, we have our Titans back together ish, but this is a different Titans. This is not Teen Titans. And so we have our older crew, and they are the whole book. A lot of this is a lot of back and forth of them trying to figure out like if they're happy there or not, how they're going to work out their independence, but also be part of the group, what this means, while also working through their own trauma throughout. It's a lot of that throughout. Of course, there's like some things in here where there's like team missions and things, but a lot of it is very like them against each other. It is the whole book is very much like the Titans crew fighting amongst each other and with themselves. All with this backdrop of such stereotypical 2000 like late 2000s artwork. Everyone has crop tops and low-rise jeans and looks pretty wild. And the art does change a lot. But you have that very much Winick writing where it is like a people character first over like big story elements. But this has also happened like we were saying amidst a lot of other big DC events, which do affect kind of what happens in this book, which is very similar to every Titans book ever.
Yeah.
And no one's allowed to be happy, and everyone has to be swept into the bigger narrative at all times. But in our crew, we have Raven, Beast Boy, Cyborg, Starfire, Red Arrow, Donna, Wally, and Nightwing. Um, and that's my quick spiel. If we just get into it, Nightwing and Starfire are having a will they won't they thing going on. Yes, they are.
And I used to
Sad.
root for them to be together, but they've had so many will they won't they's that I'm just like, Dick, leave her alone. Just let her grow. like,
Let her go be her own person for a while.
like, like he's so like toxic in a naive way. Like,
Yeah.
just I love Nightwing. Like honestly, one of the best DC books right now. But it's just he's so naive when it comes to um how he handles relationships with women sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. Like just like his father, adoptive father, he has no emotional intelligence. Not really. He has more than Bruce does, but not by much, especially when it comes to women
Yeah.
in his life. And unfortunately, the like Gotham and the Batman role is always going to come first. It's always going to get in the way eventually. His own hubris and ego is going to get in the way, which is hard when you have Starfire, who's very much like emotions on her sleeve
Yeah.
and trying to deal with that. I'm like, oh god, oh no. So you've read this before? Or is this your first time?
I read this before. I
Okay.
was getting it every month all the way until Deathstroke took over the book. Um
Yeah.
and I remember I messaged you. I'm just like, when we're talking about this, do I gotta read the Deathstroke stuff? Because if I don't have
No.
to read
No, no, we could always leave out Terror Titans. The only good thing about Terror Titans is Cheshire, and the rest of it I don't care about. I like Cheshire a lot because of her relation to Roy, of course. I do not care about anybody else there, and I don't like Deathstroke because that's pre everyone apologized for Deathstroke's behavior at Deathstroke time. So
Yeah, it's just I get that, Deathstroke seems like a cool guy, but he's not a cool guy with me. You know,
I mean, he did a lot of bad. You know,
yeah,
did
you
a
you
lot of
won't see
bad.
me rooting for him to come on top at the end of the story.
No. So I guess we can get into first thoughts about things. We could go into positives first and then negatives, or
Uh,
how you feel.
you know, let's start positive.
Okay.
Let's not just come out swinging and say like this is why you shouldn't read this book number. But let's see positives. The roster. You know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of lovable characters, and even though this is a story that kind of gets repeated a lot, it's always good to be reminded that these like group of characters right here, they're family before they're a team.
Yes.
And that's one thing that I've always liked about the Titans. Sometimes, depending on the writer, it becomes a little directionless
Mm-hmm.
to say, like, okay, what do we do from here? Or we're all our own people. We tell the same story over and over. But you can't tell me you don't live for like Nightwing and Wally moments or, you know, Beast Boy and Cyborg having their bromance or, you know, Donna and Starfire's sisterhood.
Yeah.
That you can complain about how a lot of these characters are treated, but when they're treated right, it's more of a refreshing thing. Like it doesn't even have to be good sometimes. It's refreshing to see them respected because these are characters that have a lot of history both in length and just like in their own timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I can go into a Titans book worried, but I'll always give them a chance because it's like this is the Titans right here. They've had some of the greatest stories. Like to this day, some people still say the Judas Contract is one of the greatest arcs
Yeah.
like of comics. So that's definitely a positive for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think, now this is coming from two Titans fans, so everyone can take it with a grain of salt, I guess. But uh I know no matter what Titans book I go into, I'm gonna get a lot of great character moments, which I did in this as well, which Winick is known for me. Especially like outsiders, which I'll talk about to death. Um but yeah, the family of this group, the little life moments of them in the tower, the way that they rag on each other and care about each other and how introspective they are with one another is always just so fun to read. And it is a story that, like, especially at this point, because we're going in a very, like, we've been on this timeline for a long time. It's not like, New 52 or Rebirth where we've had like a complete reboot of their relationship, but it's interesting to see. It was so nice. It's so refreshing to see these characters got to be older and be adults and have lives. Um, and getting to see how they work with each other is it's so refreshing. Like you and I've talked about a lot, where it's so different than watching or reading like Justice League, where they're coworkers, versus Titans, where they grew up together. And I will say one of my favorite parts is later. There's a string of episodes where we have like episodes. I've been reading webtoons. A string of issues where each one is like them dealing with their own personal thing, their own personal crisis, if you will. And there's a lot of like flashbacks to the past as well. And they're like, I don't even know how we were allowed to do these teenagers. Like, I can't believe we were allowed just to be unsupervised and do these things. And how dangerous was this? And like them looking back on how the team dynamic worked was some of my favorite bit. All that like flashback where it's like Roy's in the hospital and they're thinking back to the group. They're like, well, Roy was really great because he taught us how to fight dirty so he could actually like live. But it's good that we had these other people in the group too, like Nightwing or like Dick Grayson, who could balance out and not let him go too far. And then just the crushes from the early times that are still kind of here today with like Wally and Roy. It's fun. It's fun seeing them spend time together. And that's definitely the best part. I love like there's a lot of good moments in here that refer back to older Titans, things that have happened. So when you see Jericho, when you see Garth, still the funniest name. I'm so sorry, Garth. Garth, you never get to have anything.
Oh no.
No, never.
He's not even one of the Aquaman now. He's just Garth.
Yeah, because like he just kind of shows up in Titans currently every once in a while, but not really.
Yeah.
Sorry, Garth.
And it's one of those things you want him to have his moment, but I just think so much time has passed where it's just like, unless some writer really comes out with the story of a lifetime, like multiple award-winning like arc, he's just never gonna get that mantle he's not even like relatively close to. Like,
real quick, the chat is getting really good. Dominic and Titans win. The dry cleans their super suits Titans. The what's a TikTok Titans.
Oh my god.
It goes about 6 Titans. The Great British Bake Off watching Titans. Listen, if they want to give me an older Titans, I am so here, by the way. I don't care. Like I've said before, any just real life them hanging out Titans group is enough for me. All I want is a real Titans arc where it's not about them breaking up.
Or someone dying.
I want them to just be a group and do a thing. That's it. I want them to be a group and do a thing. And also stop doing the will they, won't they with Roy Harper and Donna Troy. Just let me have it. Just let me have it for a little bit.
No, it's still Team Kyle and Donna here.
So. I know. And I respect that. But I just want, and I'm fine with both. I want mine for a little bit. I want to have mine for like 10 issues.
Oh, you're asking too. They're gonna be like double digits. We haven't killed Roy yet.
I know. I know. And even with Wally having a crush, I was like, Wally, quit it. You're giving me flashbacks to Titans Rebirth. I can't do this. It can't happen for me. So we can get into the other thoughts. I think, like you said before, the directionlessness is an issue.
Oh, we're just going straight into that. No
sorry.
more positives.
Never mind. No, keep going positives. My bad.
No, I mean, I don't know if I can think of anyone, but I thought you at least had two.
No, those are my big ones. I like the individual issues.
Those are the strongest points of the series.
I thought that all those were really nice. Anything that was a part of a bigger arc, I think just kind of fell flat.
Yeah.
I know that's because of bigger events that kind of like got in the way.
And that was around a time where like editorial was really interfering with like long-term plans, because this book had it bad and Justice League had it worse, because like I remember Dwayne McDuffie was kind of vocal on like, he finally gets to Justice League, and then they tell him you can't use Flash, you can't use Batman, you can't use Superman. He's going to the world of Krypton. Batman's technically dead. Flash, you just can't use him because Barry might be coming back. Roy, you can't use him because we're gonna blow his arm off. Like they
Ridiculous.
they took away so much, and I always just found it wrong that they kind of fired him for being vocal about the frustration. Um, yeah, so a lot of DC books were just very event focused versus individual title focused. And if you were a team book or if you were Tim Drake, um, like they just kept taking away your supporting cast, your main characters, or a love interest, like, and
Yeah.
then after, like, it's like someone throwing a grenade in your writing room, and then after the grenade goes off, they'll be like, "All right, whatever survived, you can use."
Yeah. Yeah, it just feels like it all came like hearing about that makes me think about like current stuff. Like when DC Rebirth made it switch into whatever it is now. Because we all had those like because New 52 is full of these great long running books. And then Rebirth is like, hey, let's start off with that. Hey, psych, actually editorial's completely changing now. Uh sorry about it.
Yeah, and it's gotten to the point where they're just like, "Look, if it was printed, it happened. Okay, just like
Yeah, they
you
gave
figure
up.
it out."
Like I know we rebooted the universe, but actually we won't take that back now. Because there's stuff we want to play with. So now everything's up for grabs. Which I mean, Roy Harper's back because of that, and so is Liam. And so I'm very happy about that, but it's a mess.
My favorite is like Connor Kent Superboy because like the way they brought him back was just acknowledging that like, hey, the you fell into like a pocket dimension, and while you were gone the universe rebooted, so everything you know is good, but the universe tried to fix itself because you weren't there. So yeah, everything that happened and your friends remember you, but your friends don't have the same past, so they have two like contradicting past, but you're okay and you're back and no one knows you, but everyone knows you. Just-
Right? I don't even know what to say about DC. I mean, at least he came back looking so cool.
Oh yeah, they brought the jacket back.
Man, he looks so cool. Love
Like
that.
he doesn't have. Oh wait, no, he does have a place to live because then the Kents were magically back. So
Cause reasons.
yeah, they remember him.
Comic book magic, you know?
Because comics. It's the
Because
most
comics.
scientific term you can use.
You
Or
know,
just
I'm a Donna Troy fan. Anything's possible.
oh my
Uh
god.
Nothing makes sense. I don't know who anyone is. It's fine.
I know everyone and no one. That is a DC character.
Yeah, absolutely. Robin is trying to knock over my. Okay, listen. Yep, you can say hi. No, nope, I don't have sleeves. Okay, goodbye. All right. So we can jump on to the rest.
So
Little all over the place.
I'll have you go first.
Okay. I didn't feel like there wasn't much I could strongly connect to while reading this. It felt like I was reading like different, like almost anthologies more than it was reading about what was happening with the group. And I really enjoy these little moments, and I know that I enjoyed it more because I have connections to these characters. But I think if I didn't have that, I think I would struggle with this because I love all these people very much. But if I give it to somebody completely new, they'd be like, okay, what's happening? And plus, there's a lot happening here. Like, we run into Jericho, and that's a mess. And then I always thought it was going to be resolved, but then it wasn't. I guess it's resolved somewhere else.
Yeah, they had a weird crossover with Titans, Teen Titans, and Vigilante. and all of that was like dealing with that. And when I was rereading it, I was like, I could track down the issues and read these, but I don't I don't think it's gonna really like impact me to reread it.
No. And I'm pretty sure I read most of I mean, I read all of Teen Titans by Jeff Johns, which ran concurrently, so things that were happening with that, I
I think that was
knew.
when Sean McKeever was writing
Oh,
Titans.
well, then never mind, I have no idea. No clue. No clue what's happening. I know what happens when Roy loses his arm.
Yeah,
That's about
I
it.
wish we did it.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting stuff anyways, but, yeah, there wasn't a lot I could really connect to with all the characters, and unfortunately, I know it's part of the time. I do feel like the art did a disservice to a lot of the characters too. There wasn't a consistency in art at all. It changed very frequently, and with that would also change people's entire styles,
Yeah,
hairstyles, builds, body, like facial
body
expressions.
proportions.
Yeah, proportions. Um, I give it a pass on how they draw women just because it's of the time. Doesn't mean it's good, but it's very 2008. I mean, all the girls were like in weird booty poses and their mouth like this. Like,
Like consistent duck face.
oh, every time it's just blank face. Like, what are you doing? And then, but I give it a pass. It's of the time. It's okay. Raven felt very weird and different to me too. I liked her. I liked like getting the family stuff with her. I thought that was one of the stronger arcs. Weirdly, with like Raven and Trigon and her brothers, that felt consistent. That felt like an actual like completed arc. Whereas the Jericho stuff didn't. And the Tempest one off.
And the Tempest one off is so awkward because I remember liking that so much when it first came out. And the funny thing about that is, like, you get this great story about him finally, like, embracing, like, he needs to step up and be the hero that Atlantis needs or the king that Atlantis needs. And it's funny because it takes place right before Blackest Night too. And I'm like, he has this great moment and then he just dies in Blackest Night too.
Typical.
Like,
Typical DC. They know what
it,
they're doing.
it was just one of those things like, what was the point of this book if you're going to literally kill him the very same month? Like,
Oh my god. Especially when all of Atlantis is just dead. Also, at this point, because we haven't had a big reboot in DC at that point, everyone's backstory is incredibly sad and weird. Because when you look at them, you look like you have a bunch of just like young 20-year-olds, even though they have been written for decades at this point. Donna's whole family was lost to her husband and her children, right? Uh, Tempest also lost his first girlfriend, his second girlfriend, and his kid. It's just it keeps going of these terrible things everyone's been through that should feel like a long time ago. It
and
just
it's
feels so
not for a lot of them.
disjointed. No, they've been 24 for 15 years.
And Beast Boy is forever 16.
Yeah.
I know he's probably a little older in this book, but uh, I just feel like he's a character that will just he's too popular as a boy.
Yeah.
Like you'll never really see him grow.
Which sucks. Like there's some characters that I want to see young forever. Jonathan Kent, I'm still sad that he's not
Same.
young. I really enjoyed that, but I really like I wish I could have some just even if it's an off book of this team but older just so I could see what it would be like for them. Cuz the closest we get is like Kingdom Come and some random stuff.
And it's usually like a dark future.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the biggest problems with being a Titans fan is some of the characters get to grow. And I feel like once the cartoon came out, Raven was just forever stuck
Yeah.
as a younger character, and Beast Boy especially, like those two. I
Yeah.
just feel like they're definitely more popular younger, but with Raven, it's hard to get any more depth once you get past the Trigon stuff. Um, because that's her big story. And once she fully defeats Trigon, is a lot of people haven't challenged themselves to go past that point, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the same thing with Beast Boy. Although, like, if you've been watching Young Justice, big yikes with Beast Boy right now. No spoilers here, but
I haven't watched it yet, but everyone is like yelling at me, like, "Why haven't you watched this season yet? You've got to see what's happening." I'm just afraid to get my feelings hurt. So,
depending on who you like, you might get. I mean, that show,
uh,
that show is just always doubles down on kind of just the ugliness of the reality of being a hero,
yeah,
which isn't a complaint or a compliment. It's just a statement.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Beastman doesn't have a ring to it. It sounds like a YouTube channel name of a Sigma grind set channel.
I
Yeah,
know in storylines there's been talks of him just going back to the changeling name. Um, I don't know if that necessarily makes him sound older or
yeah,
more marketable, but I guess it's. I don't even know if it's progress because he's going backwards.
right. Because that's an old name now.
Yeah,
That was a good bit though in this book.
yeah.
That was a perfect bit. If anything, just read that issue. It's so good because they were at the breakfast table, the whole family, and they're talking. And Beast Boy, they're like, "Beast Boy, why didn't you keep Beast Boy instead of Changeling? You know, it sounded way cooler than Beast Boy. You're like older now." He's like, "Oh, I was going to, but I waited too long on the Changeling name, so the domain got sold, and so some guy got a hold of like all this warehouse of Changeling stuff, and I don't want that guy to make any money." And then Wally zips out and back, and immediately everybody's in the joke. And Beast Boy's like, "Wait, where did you go?" Like, "Oh, JLA stuff. Don't worry about it." And next thing you know, Wally's got a Changeling shirt on. Roy's got a Changeling shirt on. So good.
They're
It's
bullies.
such a good bit. I love it. I want those shirts. We need matching Changeling shirts.
Oh, I'm down.
Okay.
I'm definitely down.
I don't care. Nobody's gonna get it, but I don't care.
They don't have to.
They don't have to.
But I definitely do agree with you on the art. And I feel like they a lot of comics do this, so it's not just them, but they did the thing where, first issue, they get one of their bigger artists on it
Yeah.
and they make the book look good and
Oh
everything.
yeah.
And
They trick
sec
you.
yeah, like second issue all the way up to like what, like eight is just the art clashes so much with the first one. It's like say like you were looking at like a nice painting in a museum and someone just came and shook your head real quick and then you try to focus on it again. That's what the art looks like going for.
Yeah, that's a perfect example.
Yeah, but it's just it's such a not I don't want to say downgrade, but it's such a clash of styles. And the first style matched the book so much better.
Yeah.
Um to really give it the serious tone. And then the second one, kind of like you said, the over exaggerated proportions and even like weird things like there's one scene where they're walking down the hall and everyone is the same height. Exactly the same height. And it's just like y- we've had so many artists establish like Beast Boy is shorter, Starfire is taller, like but to see all characters exactly the same height is just I is just so like noticeable in a bad way.
Oh
And
yeah.
like by the time you get what I would say is like the best artist on the series, which was Howard Porter in my opinion, it's already to another arc. And
Yeah.
they're on consistently for like 3 or 4 issues. So like that story is the strongest. That's the Jericho one because
Yeah.
it just all they had to do was just have the same artist. Like it was the strongest just by doing the bare necessity.
Yeah, it helps so much. Like, if it's not an anthology book, I think you owe it to yourself, especially if you're big too. I don't see that there can't be an excuse.
Yeah.
Just keep it the same. Because at one point too, like at one page, Starfire's orange, and the next page she's white. I was like,
Yeah, there was some weird coloring errors, and I'm surprised they were like not corrected in the digital version. Like the biggest one I noticed was when the JLA visits and there's Firestorm. And the Firestorm that's on the JLA is Jason. He's
yeah,
black. And on the cover, it's Jason. The whole issue, he's literally white. And I'm like, Ronnie's not even alive.
no. I mean, DC was also bad at that. All the times that Connor Hawk would show up, and I'm like, that's a whole ass white boy. And he was not a second ago.
Oh yeah.
What is happening? The last issue you showed us his mother and him, and now he's totally what has happened.
Yeah.
There should be shared color palettes. I don't understand. There's
Or
no excuse.
just at least like an editor just to say like, hey, like I love what you did. One minor suggestion. Just, uh, and I get that some things are missable, but like the whole issue. Just,
That's how does that
I'm not saying I can do your job, but but I know that at least when it get past me.
at least I think that's where like I don't know anything about editing. I can't speak for that, but
Yeah, I
I
can't do
think you and I would be really great if they're like, "Hey, listen, can you just give this an eye real quick? Can you just look this over real quick?" I'm like, yeah, and we would have caught them. Like, actually,
it.
uh, big mistake here.
Like
We
that's a
should talk
whole nother
about it.
person.
Yeah, it's just tough. It's tough.
Yeah. So the art kind of makes it hard to really have a continuous story because there's I didn't count, but I might think that we might have hit double digits with artists or like
Absolutely, we did.
almost. And we only read up to like what 20 something issues.
Yeah,
So there's just so many jarring like style changes. And when you had like the weekly books like 52 and stuff, they had different artists because they were weekly, but they at least tried to make it so that it just wasn't so jarring.
yeah,
But after a while, it just kind of just felt like Titans was the book where, hey, we need an artist, but like I don't have a budget for it, so let's just do some freelance real quick and just throw someone on there, which isn't bad. Like that's
well,
not a
yeah,
bad thing, but it just Titans was a book that you were reading, and it just didn't feel like a priority.
yeah, and that shows. Absolutely, it shows. I think that's a. You can tell if nobody cares about it if that's the kind of thing that's happening.
Yeah,
Because it's not like they had the best artist for like 5 issues and then they just went to a completely different artist for the rest of it, which happens all the time.
yeah.
James mentioned Buffy. It's something I complain about all the time because every comic publisher loves to get me with Dan Mora. They're like, hey.
Oh, that more is so good.
And then they put Dan Mora on for 5 issues, right? And I'm like, oh man, Dan Mora. Okay, character design, let's go. And they take him away because they tricked me again. And this has happened at least more than once with Dan Mora before, where the publisher has tricked me with him. And Buffy was like the perfect example because we were all about it. And then immediately the art was like, nope. All of the blonde women look the same. No one is indistinguishable from anybody else. This is it. Like, no. Which is hard because, like, on this one, you have Wally and Roy, which, if not drawn correctly, are the same person.
Yeah, there's a scene that literally transitions from Roy to Wally, and I remember I had to like swipe back because I was just like, wait, Wally, and then I saw kids jumping a bit. I was like, oh, okay, we're Wally. We're reading Raleigh now. I'm like that made no sense. How?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few times where, like, I had to double check. I had to, like, or I had to check a panel before. I'm like, "Okay, who's wearing what shirt?" Okay, so now I know because they are the same person.
Yeah, they should do like a crossover where like they do like one dresses as the other one.
Oh, like the
Like
double date from, like, the Batman Superman did where they dress
yeah,
I love that.
that
Oh,
one's a good issue or a two-parter. Yeah,
that was so good.
yeah, but yeah, I don't want to keep dogging on the art because all these artists can draw better than me, but um, it's like it's no offense to the artist, but
Oh,
I don't
no.
think at the same time they didn't put the artists in the most fair position to really show off like their work
Yeah.
because it's just it just felt like they needed an artist versus worrying about how the story flows together.
Yeah, it's definitely a team and, like, leadership and editorial issue,
Yeah.
and that's definitely what happened with this run. Because Winick is a fantastic writer, so that's not on him. It is just to me, I'm like, you're just beholden to the whims of the team.
Yeah, and Winick is actually off the book after the Jericho arc.
Yeah.
And again, they have like the next few issues are kind of like treated as one shots, but a flowing story at the same time. But I think if I think a majority of the characters that get focused on are all on different writers.
Yeah.
So again, kind of like the consistency of like some of the character behaviors doesn't really flow very well, or some of the behaviors get repeated because you can tell like
Yeah.
someone says like, "Hey, Beast Boy and Raven, they don't get along anymore." So it just seems like every issue was put Beast Boy and Raven in a confrontation.
And then they're still not gonna get along, and they're still not gonna date. Okay. You only need 1 issue to tell me they're not gonna date.
Yeah, and it's like
But
really
also, why
doubled
not?
down.
Why
But
not let them date? I don't care. I don't understand.
like honestly, after reading that, I don't want them to date anymore because it's just like
Yeah.
it's done in a way that like makes both of them not likable in the book.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because Beast Boy is like not respecting the fact that she's saying we're done, and it's like keep repeated and repeated, and Raven's not really explaining why she just suddenly went cold on him.
Yeah.
So like Beast Boy's looking for like at least some closure, and like Raven's not giving it to him. So it's just you got two aggressive like directions as far as the character, and you're not really rooting for anyone like in this situation.
And it would have helped if they let us have 1 couple, because instead we had 2 different couples that were having issues in this book and wasn't working out. Like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I can deal with 1, but more than that? Oh, okay, it's getting a little obnoxious. You're just wasting my time.
And then you kind of forget about Dick even being in the book because he's literally yanked out because it's just like he's Batman now, but they don't
Yeah.
mention it until like a few issues later.
No, not until he's just like, "Hey, I need to leave." And then she goes to see him and she's like, "Oh, it's kissing Batman. Oh, it's Dick Grayson." Like, okay.
Yeah, you're like you read it and you're like, oh yeah, that did happen. I'm like, oh yeah, he wasn't in the past few issues, and you're like, you think that would have been mentioned?
No, not even. Not even a little bit. Well, anyways, uh, I guess we can go ahead and give our rating and then chill with the chat. I do have a request that eventually we read The Titans together.
And this is like the first book that we've talked about that we just kind of just didn't
Oh, yeah.
enjoy.
That's true.
And I hate to seem like I'm dogging on it, but at the same time, like I'm being respectful. It is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Well, and I
like
still was happy to see my people.
yeah, and in in a weird way, this book made me want to read other Titans runs because I'm like, there's better than this.
Yeah, me
So
too.
so it had like a reverse effect, like because I remember thinking like, man, the Rebirth run was better than this,
Absolutely, it was. And
yeah,
that one wasn't great.
yeah, because that one had the same problem of we're taking away
Yes.
Wally, Roy, and like all the teammates, and then you're gonna have a new team, and then we're gonna shoot Nightwing in the head and call him Rick. So in in exchange, we'll give you one Green Lantern.
You
Just
get to have Kyle Rayner for a little bit, and all the covers are gonna look really cool.
amazing covers,
Oh,
but
amazing
you're
covers.
you're just so defeated by the end because you're just like, who else did they got? Who else they got to shoot in the
What?
head and call Rick? You know?
There's no consistency. You know, we've been betrayed, we've been, like, broken apart. It's like this, like, crappy toxic boyfriend comes back and like, "No, babe, it's different now, I promise." I'm like, "But I don't know.
it,
When are you gonna leave?" You know?
and then you go like, he said he was gonna change,
"It's
and
different this time. He promised." And they put Dan Moore on for 5 seconds, deuces, they leave.
uh,
But, I still fall for DC, right? Because the minute Roy Harper showed back up, I was there immediately.
yeah, they're great characters, and like, there's great things being done with them right now. Like the Wally West Flash book is amazing. Nightwing is amazing. Like the latest Nightwing issue has Wally and Nightwing just teaming up, and like this is the
Aw.
stuff I want to see. Um, like honestly, in Nightwing, the Teen Titans are probably better represented than they have been in a long time. But like these are characters that have proven that they can work, but I kind of call it like the Daredevil um problem where it's like a writer comes on Daredevil and for a majority of them they're just like I want to destroy this man's life. Like I want to just like have Daredevil just drip into the sewer. That's how low I want him
Yep.
to go. And after a while you're just like, man, I'm tired of seeing Daredevil get beat up each time a new writer comes on. And that's where like the Titans kind of fall into.
Yeah. Yeah, because I some of their best stories about these different characters are in other books.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite Roy stuff is not in Roy-centric books. Like, I love when he was in I think it was Nightwing, where he was hanging out with, or maybe it was, like, Detective Comics, I can't remember, but he was hanging out with Damian.
Oh yeah, that was Nightwing. That was a good issue.
I really liked that one. And I love the one where he showed up in Red Hood and the Outlaws to have his big, obvious farewell before he died.
Oh
He
yeah,
was
I
like, "See you,
remember that.
Jay Bird," and I was, like, crying because I knew.
They play like the Fast and Furious music.
Typical. Um, so yeah, rating out of 10.
I'm.
Uh, go for it.
Did you want to go first?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna give it. I'm giving it a 4.
I
Honestly.
think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was leaning towards a 5, and that's me being nice.
Yeah, I was thinking like 5, but I'm like 5 is middle, and I feel like it didn't get
Yeah,
to that middle point.
and I think if I had no connections to the characters, it would be way lower. It's only because I like these characters. I can't say it's a very I wouldn't be able to, like, recommend it. But if I'm like, "You need some more Titans in your life? Here is some more that you can read."
It's like, well, you said you wanted a book, so I got you a book.
There's some people in it that you like. Yeah. There you go. Enjoy it.
Maybe.
Lee gave it a 4 out of 10. Too generous 4 out of 10 should be a 1.25 out of 10. I mean, probably, yeah. Probably, yeah. Roy is the most old man name. I mean, you're not wrong. That's okay. Also love this back and forth. I won't cheat this time, I swear. I think this one was meant to be behind it. Dick Grayson talking to himself in the mirror. Makes me wish I was reading a better book with this team. Okay, please. All right, Lee. log into DC Universe, okay, and read the Titans. The end.
Yeah.
There you go. And also read Outsiders. That's my Roy Nightwing book for you. Read The Outsiders, please. Thank you.
Honestly, even some of those digital first ones where it's just like they just pick whoever they want in the book, those are not bad books. The lineups may not make sense, but
Yeah.
Nightwing and Red Hood being on a team, that don't make sense. But it's fun. And that's what I
Yeah.
want sometimes.
Sorry, I heard some animal destroying something. I guess I'll find out later. I really want to read Titans United, the one they made that has like the lineup from the show.
My, I haven't heard bad things about it. My girlfriend's reading that one, so I'll
Yeah.
have to ask her how that one is.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. Hello. So what else have you been up to? What else have you been reading? Or maybe a recommendation for the chat. If they feel a little sad by this one, what's a good pick me up after this, do you think?
Let's see. If you're looking for some, I can keep it Titans focused. Like, if you're looking for some great books right now, like I know Tom Taylor's like on fire right now with
Yeah.
Nightwing. Nightwing is one of the best books out there right now, and not just because of the writing, but the art is so fluid and amazing.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds you of like how Scott McDaniel was like on early Nightwing, where like just the character, like you could just see the process of him like leaping up on a building. Or that's honestly one of the best books out right now. And Wally West Flash is so fun because it's finally gotten past all the baggage of all the bad writing decisions,
Good.
and he just gets to be Flash and be with his family, and
Good.
that's all people wanted. And it's so good. So I definitely recommend those. um, if we're looking outside of Titans, I'll be honest, the Power Ranger books are really amazing. um,
Yeah, I haven't read the current stuff, but I read that first big comeback in Boom, like the one that had the big
yeah,
like, yeah, and I really like those.
yeah, that book's been consistently just like you see a book with a property like that, and you think like, oh, this is just a cash grab, but it's just like, no, they really care about like this, and they're doing their own thing. And
Yeah.
it's it's been one of my favorite surprises every month. um Other than that, like, depending on the title I'm behind on, because when life hits.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, those would probably be my recommendations, like off the top of the head.
those are good. I would throw out because I have a pull list and I am behind on reading any of them. So I know I have like most of the issues of Blue and Gold, which I have not read, but I have
Same.
them. But Wayne Family Adventures to me is always like if you need to pick up from any
Oh
DC book that's let
yes.
you down, just go read. It's free on Webtoons. Go read Wayne Family Adventures. It will clear your skin. It will make the weather better. It's perfect.
It increases your credit score. Like
Yeah, it does. Weird how that
it's
happens.
it's the kind of book where like I remember like I was going to bed and I was like scrolling and I was catching up on them, and it's one of those things where you nudge your partner and be like, hey, read this real quick. Like
Look what's happening. God, it's so good. It's everything I could have ever asked for. They're so happy.
yeah, and you know, it shows because one of my biggest complaints is the Batman family is too big, and it's not because they have enough characters, it's because they don't focus on the characters they do have. So
Yes.
it's it's just padded volume. Like we care about these characters
Mhm.
and we want to see them and we want to see them interact, and we just don't. We get it in like little sprinkles of seasoning basically. And that just a simple free comic is kind of just giving us what we wanted. We just want to
Yeah.
see the Bat family actually family. Like,
Yeah, and I want that for every family that we have in DC. I want more of those groups hanging out. And selfishly, I want more of the Arrow family hanging out because I want merchandise because everyone makes merchandise for the Bat Boys and for the Flash team, but never for my people. Where's my Arrow boys, please?
if you like the characters we like, they get put into like a poll where you have to vote for only one of them to get a book.
And they never get it
Yeah.
either. I I'm still worried that Donna won't make it into the Trial of the Amazons. Like, I was so worried. They finally released an image where she was there, but it took so long. I kept checking. I was like, "Oh my god, they're not gonna do it. They're not gonna let her be there." And then when they finally did, it was like a traced image of another art, but I was like, "Okay, she's there now. It's fine." It's interesting that you talked about the run because I've heard about it from the nude image of Starfire from the book and a review from the infamous Linkara. I don't know about that person, but
I
yeah, it
forgot
starts
about that.
off with her just being, like, naked.
Yeah.
She's staying with the Animal Man, right?
Yeah.
Which is so funny.
It's funny because I forgot about that because I like that's just been just like such a Starfire like
Yeah.
thing with writers for so long that it's I don't know, like it just went right past me, and I don't know if that's good or bad, honestly.
Yeah, it didn't bother me weirdly, but yeah, I think it's just because it's a Starfire thing now, which but I mean, I see it, and I'm like, "Yeah, she's being" it's a little much because I mean, it is they use the same excuse that, like, Kojima used with Quiet from Metal Gear Solid, where they were like, "No, she's gotta absorb the sun through her skin." So that's why there's a lot of it out.
Yeah.
But for Starfire, I'm like, she's just very, like, comfortable. It'd be weird
Yeah,
if it was, like, Raven doing it.
yeah. But yeah, like yeah, that's just a normal thing when I see Starfire now, and like I never really noticed it until it was like brought up.
Yeah. Since you're mentioning Daredevil, it's kind of weird that, why on earth would they still go for the same guy that made Batman and Robin? It's official. The guy can't write these characters.
Oh, Frank Miller? We talking All-Star Batman and Robin? Oh boy. That's all I can say about All-Star Batman and Robin. Just oh boy.
Yeah, I've
Oh,
never read it. Jaden gave us a 3 out of 10, said Titans United isn't good in my opinion, but you may like it. Well, I usually trust your opinion, Jaden. But I also will read anything, even if it's bad for Don and Troy, though. Ooh, unrelated. The Milestone Compendium is out. Have you seen it?
I want it, but
I saw it in the store. Oh my god. It's so beautiful. I kinda like that it's a paperback. It's
yeah,
so
it's beautiful.
chunky.
I want it so bad,
I want it
but
so
I have
bad.
to be responsible right now.
Me too.
I remember that came out when like gas prices first went up, and like I have like a discount card that's like ready to redeem at the comic shop, and it was like you can use it on that, and I was like, I just got oil change and filled up my card. Like I shouldn't even be here,
Yeah, no.
but
I
I definitely want it.
God, I want it so bad. Ever since you turned me on to them, I wanna like, yell to the heavens, and I just wanna yell at people when I see them, be like, "Why aren't you haven't you seen this? Aren't you gonna read this now? Why are we all talking about Icon every day? Come on." It's
Yeah, they've been kind of quiet on like the non-static books, like,
yeah.
but
I'm worried about all of them.
well, static. I think all of them got a season two, and then they're coming out with Blood Syndicate number or season one. I think that starts next month actually.
Yeah.
So
Well,
like
that's
they're
good
definitely
news.
focusing on it, but like I do feel like DC can really bring the hype a bit more with it in the
Absolutely.
advertising.
Absolutely. And they should. Oh, I thought you were talking about the Titans live action show. Okay. We don't talk about the Titans live action show.
The Titans live action show. is a show. That is,
It sure is.
yep. There are people in there that
Uh-huh.
portray characters,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and there's a film crew and everything. I would just say facts about the
Yeah.
Titan show.
They sure did give me a Donna Troy. And I am thankful for that.
Yeah, she was electrifying.
Uh, but I didn't hear about anything good that happened to her. So
Yeah.
if Roy Harper shows up like they've been hinting, will I attempt to watch it? Yes. Will I be devastated by how bad it is? Absolutely, I will. Absolutely. Oh, Lee says I'm so nervous about the Satana show.
A
Who's
Zatanna
making it
show should
though?
be so fun. It should be so fun. I hope it's fun. It's okay to get dark, but just Zatanna's fun. She says stuff backwards. Stop his pots. Like, just make it fun.
Hopefully, we'll see. You know, and always depends on who's making the show because like I will continue to say, we struck gold with Stargirl. It is perfect. I have no complaints.
Superman and Lois is good.
Yeah, also is good. And I don't feel like they fell into much of the CW trap as the other shows did. And I love my crappy CW DC shows. Well, I did. Flash fell pretty hard. But Legends is the exact. Well, actually, I did fall off this last season, so I can't say that. But Legends was my like cheesiness I liked for a long time.
And then there's always Peacemaker.
Oh, I still haven't watched it yet. I'm so
Oh,
bad.
oh, you need to watch Peacemaker.
I know.
It's
I have HBO Max back again now, so I will. I'll wait and watch it with Elliot once we're done watching Craig of the Creek, because that's the real reason we have HBO Max. Personally, it's for Craig of the Creek. Oh, and I guess I finally have to watch the Batman now that it's on streaming because I didn't see
yeah,
anything
I
else.
have to watch that this weekend too.
We can text each other because my expectations are low.
I'm coming in with a clean slate because I'm just like I've heard it's good, but I'm just coming in clean because like I've seen a lot of Batman movies in my life,
Yeah,
so it's just one of those things. Oh, okay, another Batman movie. Like, I'm not excited or disappointed. It's an expectation. So I feel like I'm gonna come out enjoying it because I'm not like going like, oh, they better nail this right or anything. The more original it is, the more I'll probably enjoy it. So
yeah. The lower I keep my expectations,
yeah.
the better it should be. But my favorite Batman movies are the older ones. So
Which one's the older ones? Cause
not like the old ones, like you know Val Kilmer and George Clooney, and I love those four movies so much, and I don't care. There's a reason why "Kiss from a Rose" by Seal is my favorite song, and
oh,
it's those
okay.
Batman movies.
Like movie quality aside, that song is
So
in
good.
the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that is my go-to karaoke song forever.
Like if we needed a song to like represent humanity, like aliens
Yeah,
come and say, "Bring me one of your finest songs."
here it is. And they'll be like, "What does it mean?" I say, "I don't know." Here you go. It is 1989. I'm watching a darker, more twisted Batman movie. It's 2004. I'm watching a darker, more twisted Batman movie. It's 2022. I'm watching a darker, more twisted Batman movie.
I saw that meme with Dr. Manhattan just sitting down saying that. Oh. Yeah, like
Uh,
with DC movies, I just kind of want to see more of the newer characters, honestly. Like,
yeah, I don't want to, also, I don't want to see Joker ever again. I like Joker in the comics a regular person amount. I don't want to see him again. I'm done. I don't want to see the Joker anymore. Put Kite Man in the damn movie and let's all have a good time.
I just want to see someone react in the comics to Joker just in a way that like we would just do. Like you just see him laughing, but like, hey, it's not funny, man. It was never funny. Batman doesn't love you. Just get over it, man. You're not funny. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna kill me, but hey, someone had to tell you.
DC had the opportunity to roll out Milestone with Ticker Tape Parade like it was their ultimate universe. The whole variant cover circuits trades the old stuff in tandem with the new number ones. Seems like they engineered the rollout with the least impact possible. See, we did Milestone. He'll leave us alone.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
Just let me listen. I'm not a marketing person, but I do a lot of like big ideas and strategic planning and marketing in my career. Let me have it. Just put me in. Let us listen. If you and if they were like, hey, for 1 month, Phil and Maddie get to make decisions, we would kill it.
Oh my god.
We'd fix it. Would there be some people mad again? Yes, there'd be some people, but like, it would be great.
Yeah, like honestly, I'll even hype up Batman doesn't even need hype. I'll still hype him up. Like,
yeah. You don't even have to say anything about a Batman book. People are gonna buy it. Nothing changes.
yeah.
Mr. Freeze deserved a solo movie more than that god awful Joker movie. I liked the Joker movie actually.
We got a great live action Mr. Freeze. What are you talking about?
They want a solo movie though. But I'll take it if Arnold is Mr. Freeze again. The Batman is great. Lee, I love you, but I can't get behind that opinion. I actually really like the direction Gotham Knights is going. Let's let Batman rest and focus on the Legacy family. Give me a Robin's movie. Game. Oh, same.
I just ran into the Robin figure today from that.
Yeah.
And I bought it because you know me, I love Tim Drake. But it also had like very soulless eyes. So I was like, because I do like the model kits and everything. I was like, let me give him like one of those like normal comic accurate masks because this thing ain't gonna like make eye contact with me anymore. But like I can't wait for that game. It's weird that the figures are already out and the game's not even coming out this year, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm excited. As long as whoever I'm playing it with lets me be Batgirl, we're cool.
Oh yeah, I already called dibs on Tim Drake, so
yeah. I'm ready. And I'm ready for that Suicide Squad game.
I might have to like upgrade because I don't like PS5s aren't real. I don't know how people are getting them, but they're not real. So I don't have like an up-to-date gaming system.
Yeah. I got very lucky with friends telling me which Twitter accounts to follow that would post when things went up. And then went into debt.
Like even if I find one, I'm just like, I don't like usually I wait a while before the systems come out so the library can build.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I've never even seen a PS5 like ever, and anyone who has one, I don't know what you have, but it's not real.
It's not. Don't worry about it.
And if
there's not much out anyways. I mean, Horizon Forbidden West I had to have.
Oh yeah, that's true for you.
And I did play Guardians, which was a perfect comic book game. Well, not perfect. That's
when Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine come out, I have to have one by then. So
yeah, it'll happen then. Wouldn't an Etrigan game be awesome? Demon's Breath clawing rhyming mini games. More Etrigan. If we ever get Justice League Dark, just imagine how obnoxious. They won't let us have rhyming Etrigan, but how good would it be?
Oh, they better give us rhyming Etrigan.
Ugh.
Be a household name.
Anytime Batman gets brought up, I see the wildest takes in this chat. I think it's just a lot of like there's so much of it. And DC's such a rich universe. I think it's hard. Because Marvel, you've got so many things for different Marvel characters. It's not like they're like, hey, here's Iron Man again. And only Iron Man. And so you go to DC and it's like, here's Batman again. But no. Let me get out of Gotham, please. Let me get out of Gotham.
And it's hard because like at the same time, the stuff sells. Like,
Oh, I mean, it
so
does great. People love it.
yeah. So you criticize them for not taking chances, but at the same time, on a business side, they're
Yeah, which I get. I just want my perfect world and my first world problem solved, you know?
I do like that Marvel just continuously takes chance. Like we're getting two Captain America books, you know,
Mhm.
again, but like this time, like Captain America's not secretly a Hydra agent, you know. So
That's
like,
true. Well, we've already went over time a little bit, but uh, I want to say thank you again, Phil. Seeing you and hanging out with you, I had never showed the same way of me just being like, "You're great, thank you," and I always feel better when I see the chat. I promise this is just real me. It's what I do. This is
it's an honor and a pleasure, and kind of like I say as always, just thank everyone for being here, because like I know I say it all the time, but literally things like this aren't possible with people to tune in. Like y'all could literally be doing anything right now, and you decided to hang out with two of us talking about the Titans for way too long.
way too long, but that's okay. You can catch Phil at the links in the description below. I will be here, or next week they will be reading Cable and Deadpool.
Ooh,
So come check that out because I've never read a Cable book in my life.
I heard that run is pretty good.
I heard good things about it. Robin, no, don't tear up gaming chairs, Robin.
Last thing Batman said to Jason Todd.
Robin, no. Beautiful. And oh yeah, thank you, James. Name Collective will have a live show this Thursday, so check it out. And yeah, thank you everybody for hanging out. Hope to see you again soon. Don't worry, Phil will be back because I can't live without him. He's got me back on the show. So hope
Legally obligated.
it's true. We did a blood pact.
I will sue you.
Have a good night, everybody. I hope you like this video. Comment down below your thoughts if you're catching this later. And we'll see you next time. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.